I know it's human nature, but these animals do not enjoy us at all. They don't want to be touched. They don't want to be petted. They don't want to be comforted or even fed. They're opportunists, so they are going to eat things we offer them. We can kill them very quickly with the wrong diets. So we have animals come in like geese and ducks that have eaten so much corn and bread that we can't undo the damage. And I know it seems like the nice thing to do to feed some of these wild animals, but they do better if we let them live their natural lives. Flying squirrels live in every woodlot in Ohio and even in city parks and backyards. He dove in there really quick because, you know why? It's security. His whiskers are way out to here. Those whiskers, every part on an animal is a tool for them. It helps them to survive. Every single shape of their ear or the weight, what kind of foot they have, has something to do with where they live and what they eat. This little owl is 12 years old, and what she has done for us here at Back to the Wild, she has become a surrogate mom for every orphan baby screech owl that comes in. She has personally raised over 130 babies that weren't hers. She feeds them and cares for them. Believe it or not, if I hand feed and talk to a wild animal for several weeks, when it's a baby, it can never ever return to the wild. It will imprint permanently on humans and not be accepted by their own kind. So it's very sad to see a wild animal have to live in a little cage the rest of its life. In 1979, Ohio's bald eagle population was in big trouble. Only 4 nests, and those eagles were not producing young. Biologists found out the eggshells were thinning, they would break very easily, and by taking blood samples and lots of studies, they found that the eagles were contaminated and concentrated, their cells were concentrated with DDT, the pesticide that was sprayed so widely in the 50s and 60s. When it rained, like today, the DDT washed off the land into the rivers and lakes and streams, and it poisoned the fish. So what do you think eagles eat? Fish. And that's the food chain once again. Now DDT has been banned. It's against the law to use it. And guess what? Who knows how many eagles' nests are in Ohio today, this summer, right here in Ohio? Many of them in Erie, Sandusky, and Ottawa County. Anybody know? 108 eagles' nests are in Ohio today. There's 128, You know what? It's a good thing I didn't have them turn this way because they can squirt that 7 feet behind them. That's an adaptation to keep their nests clean. Okay, step up here, Ron. Here's a great chance to look. This is Ron Zelenka, and they already know where you're from. This eagle was struck by a train about 8 months ago, and we were called to rescue it by the police department and the train crew. And since then, he has lost sight in one eye, and he has a bad wing. But just look at the difference. This is what a young eagle looks like. In fact, right now, every eagle's nest has fledged, I believe, within the last 2 to 3 weeks, and Ohio has another 128 immature eagles out there just from this year's batch. My educational background was heading for elementary education, and I guess I'm doing that, except 48,000 kids a year and adults, but it has turned out to be, of course, strictly about the natural world. My education as a rehabilitator has happened along the way as the center developed. So did my education. I attend conferences and seminars that rehabilitators all over the state and even national seminars are attended, where we are trained by wildlife experts and veterinarians in you know, diseases in wild animals and injuries and exactly how to. It's an ongoing education. We have to keep updated all the time, and it's been a lot of reading and a change in the direction of my life.
This experience, or my experience working at Back to the Wild, has really taken me back to nature and has brought me back to where I really wanted to be in being a veterinarian. And it has taught me how important every little piece of nature is important to the ecosystem as a whole. Everything is so interrelated, and being out here, it's it's reminded me of that and how important that wildlife is. And part of the thing that I think is really important that Back to the Wild does is education. And they start by educating children. I think that's a primary goal, really, of Back to the Wild. Not only the rehabilitation, but the education.
I came on board to help assist in programs because I found the director was teaching all programs and that 48,000 children and adults get educated through Back to the Wild every year. We do many, many programs. Sometimes we go off-site and where we travel to a school or another organization. That is a long day. We have to load the van with all the live animals. We take hawks and owls and eagles with us, as well as native reptiles and amphibians. Then we do the program. We have to load the van to come home, put all the animals back in their cages and feed everybody. So it's a long day when we have an away program. We also have field trips and programs where the children and adults come to see us, such as schools or scout groups. When they get here, we do instruct them that this is similar to a hospital for animals, and that these are not our pets, and our goal is to return these animals to the wild. Then we teach them about habitat conservation, and we teach them about animals so that they learn to value them and to value native wildlife.
I would be lying if I said we didn't become emotionally attached to our animals that are in our care. This is, of course, what got us into all this. We literally are big lovers of nature, but hopefully all rehabilitators are realistic enough to understand where we have to not let our human nature, impose things on these wild animals that shouldn't be done. We cannot make pets out of them. We're releasing some animals that are really truly ready to make it, on their own in the wild. We're going to release a Canada goose, a couple mallards, some wood ducks. We don't have any herons or egrets ready to be released yet, but we also have some opossums and rabbits who've spent the last couple months with us, and they've grown old enough and hopefully well enough to make it on their own. So this is a big day for them, and we're always glad to be doing, fulfilling our mission here, what we're meant to be doing, putting these animals back into the wild. You can harm them if you carry them improperly. We don't want to overextend muscles and wings. This goose actually had a broken leg, and it healed very well. This is a hatchier bird, so it's a young goose, Canada goose. Its leg healed, but she does have a limp. I'm not going to keep her in captivity the rest of her life with a minor limp. It's better to have the bird run into the net than to strike over the top and possibly hit him with a rim. This is a ring-billed gull who's saying her last goodbye to me, biting. She had a broken wing that's really, you can feel the mend, and we re-x-rayed it a little while ago and it was a good heal, so hopefully she'll make it. This is a hen mallard. She had a broken wing. We know she's ready to go.